Now, this was what a paper that I had to write was based off of. From what I believe, this was not made a case, but this was an incident that took place at Harvard in 1991, I believe. Two students hung a Confederate flag outside of their dorm for everyone to see. And in protest, another student drew a swastika.
A Confederate flag and a swastika is crazy, literally.
Like both, like that's a double
Yeah,
whammy
like
right
that's
there. Like,
crazy.
obviously, this led to a humongous backlash, and the former president of Harvard at the time, Derek Bach, wrote a letter acknowledging that what the students did was offensive, but it would be like unconstitutional, ineffective, and nonsensical to impose such a punishment on them because of the First Amendment. Because he wrote this whole essay. He did propose that two solutions would be to ignore the messages or just talk to the students.
That goes into what I just said. Is a thin line between freedom of speech and hate speech. Like, especially on a college campus. It's so many different races, religions. Like, it's very offensive to a large amount of people. It's an environmental thing too. Because had that been a different kind of campus, Harvard, predominantly white, if has that have that been a different kind of campus,
Those
I feel
students would
like
have got the
that,
motherfucking
yeah,
business.
the outcome would have been different.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like he made a speech or essay about it, and it didn't pertain to him. Like if he was a black man, or if it was something that pertained to him or people close to him, or maybe his staff or whatever, like if it pertained to him, it would have been a different approach to that. But since it didn't pertain to him, and it didn't pertain much to the students either, then he didn't really feel like, it wasn't no urgency. Like,
That's what we said in class, because Derek Bach is a white man. So,
yes.
that also says a lot, you're not going to be as affected by the
Yeah.
situation.
Hmm.
And, you're not Jewish, you're not going to be affected by a swastika. I felt like those students should have been punished, period, point blank. I don't give a about nobody's freedom of speech.
I feel like that's hate speech, and I feel like that should be expulsion. Hate speech is a crime.
Hate
Like
speech
I
is a crime,
Yes, it's a whole
period.
crime. Like,
I feel like they did what they did with intent, and that was what I wrote in my paper.
yes. Mhm.
A lot of hatred comes from ignorance, specifically racism. Uh,
Mhm.
there are people that make ignorant and hateful comments. Some do it without intent. Some do it unintentionally, without knowing.
Mhm.
I know that a lot of reasons for why some people believe in the things they do or say some of the mean things they may say or do some of the things they may do is because they have a lack of understanding around what they're doing.
Yes. Mhm.
People like that, okay, they may just need time to get spoken to and explained. They need to get explained why what they're doing may be an issue.
Mhm.
To like this, who definitely knew damn well what they were doing. Because at the end of the day, and I also wrote this in my paper, there's common decency, there's human decency, and then there's common sense. You know
Mhm.
what a Confederate flag means, like, and I even felt like he was being so light in the article. I should have wrote that in my paper. I felt like he was being so light in the damn article. Like one of the quotes was, "This offended people who equate the Confederate flag to slavery." The Confederate flag was slavery. Me equate like they
Like I said,
don't even do the
it didn't affect him, and mind you, who knows, he probably feel the same way. He probably got that shit
no
hanging up
shit.
in his
Nigga said
basement,
that
like,
looked pretty. I got a little mini one in my office.
yes, like when all of that shit was over, the KKKs, now they're wearing badges. Now they're wearing judge robes. Like, we don't know who these people are.
We
They
don't.
are all around us.
Let me tell you something. If I was president of Harvard, I would have been right in the courtroom because those would have got expelled that day, and they would have wanted to
Like,
bring
there
it to
should be.
court.
What was there any like protests behind it? Were there
Yeah,
any
like
like boycotts or anything like that?
to be honest with you, it seemed like there was a lot of backlash that they got. There was plenty of students that felt away, and I think that
Hmm.
it was enough to cause the principal to write about it.
Yes.
I feel like their purpose was to make others in their community uncomfortable.
Yes. And honestly, I've seen a few videos of students, of color being basically like demonize and just harass on that campus on Harvard at Harvard. I've seen a few videos of it. You record what's going on. And I think it was this one video of this black girl. She was studying in the library, and then it caused like a whole commotion. The lady that worked there wound up calling the police and basically saying she doesn't belong here, yada yada. And she's like, I'm a student here, I live here, I'm just studying. So that environment is definitely that. Like it's
Also something I wrote in my paper. When you give hate a place to flourish, especially hate like
Mhm.
it only take one to take what they're
Mhm.
doing and the messages that they're sharing to heart and
Yes.
really go to the extent of actually committing an act that is against the law. One, Simone last season actually said exactly what you were saying about hate speech.
Mhm.
Two people from Turning Point USA, from what she told me, they were spewing queerphobic and anti-abortion information towards a community full of just diverse students.
Yeah.
It led to protests, and it led to the school having to put out this whole letter, and it led to students getting arrested and assaulted. And it's just like, well, that could have all been avoided had you not brought people like that to us, to a community that you knew people weren't going to be fond of them like that.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I'm gonna put the episode where I spoke about the TikTok ban in the description below, and I will also be putting that episode from last season because it's so crazy how this connects to the other episode from last season. I'll
Mhm.
put that in the description below. I told her that's like bringing Hitler to a Jewish school. That's like bringing Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was leader of the KKK. That's like bringing that to a HBCU. Like, you
Yeah.
don't do shit. Like, there's just shit that you
You
simply
don't do.
don't do.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that simple. Lorna the SVU did attack an episode around. I think they've done several episodes, but
Yeah, they
from
have.
from the one that I could really remember, they did an episode around, I think it was season 15. They did an episode around surrounding a comedian who was making a lot of jokes, and two of his fans one night actually the girl that was walking home, basically like reenacting what the guy was joking about doing. And so to the girl after listening to his stand-up.
Mhm.
And it was this whole debacle on whether or not they can charge him because he can't get arrested for what he said, especially if he didn't have nothing to do with it. He didn't tell him to nobody. He just was making jokes, even though the jokes were just done in poor taste. We ended up finding out that he was actually a himself. So
Himself, yes.
a lot of his jokes was actually relating to crimes that he actually committed. But it does raise a point. It only takes a couple of months to take what you're saying to
The
heart
heart. And act on these things.
and act on it. I gathered whoever the Derek Walker, I gathered him in my essay. I'm sorry. I grit. Like there's nothing to look at. A school so elite like Harvard, you would have
Mhm.
thought we don't even do none of that over here.
Yeah, like you would think they don't even want that type of negativity.
There,
They're just gonna
publicity,
get rid
nothing.
of the students in all and to just, try to shut the book on that one.
Guilty.